Quand, gagné par l'optimisme, je me console que la calamité en cours ne soit au fond pas si grave, le pessimisme me rétorque que, au contraire, le pire est à venir.
תהיה כאן הערב עצרת כואבת, עצובה.
Depuis le 7 octobre 2023, le monde s'est embrasé autour du conflit israélo-palestinien. Ce ne sont plus les faits qui guident, mais les opinions qui priment. La vérité s'assombrit, l'histoire se fragmente et les récits s'imposent. Les partis politiques se rangent derrière un État comme s'il y avait plusieurs versions, plusieurs histoires. Les universités se révoltent contre les gouvernements qui s'immobilisent.
I love this country to the core because I like my religion, and my religion is based on this land. Like, you walk here and you can see the history. You can go in Jerusalem and you can see the history of the Jewish people. Like, you have the Western Wall, you have everything there. But you can also walk in Jerusalem and see the history of Muslims. And you can also see the history of Christianity. Like, Jesus was going there, he was crucified there. That's the core history of all the Abrahamic religions. So my core dream is for us to live together because we all love this land. So why do we keep on fighting on it? Why can't we all just coexist?
Face à une telle situation, une interrogation constante me tourmentait. Et si j'avais le pouvoir d'agir, est-ce que je le ferais? Alors, je suis parti, en Israël. Je ne suis ni reporter, ni journaliste, ni chercheur. Juste un étudiant voulant se faire son propre avis, en quête de vérité. Pour ce faire, je suis parti à la rencontre de citoyens israéliens et palestiniens sur place, car je ne pouvais faire qu'une chose, recueillir la parole de citoyens.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. It's okay. What's your name?
Arthur.
Arthur.
Yeah.
Noam.
Noam?
Yeah.
Okay.
The definition will still stay the same. However, I think that because of the war, people just they found definitions and they just that sounds like a cool definition we can destroy. And they made it something that it's not. They made it very violent. They made it very, aggressive. Yeah, so I'm a Zionist, so I probably believe that only Jews can live here, which is not the truth.
Vous avez déjà dû entendre parler du sionisme. Le problème, c'est que l'on parle du même concept sans s'accorder sur les conceptions que l'on en fait. Pour comprendre concrètement ce qu'est cette notion, je suis allé au musée du sionisme à Jérusalem, là où son créateur est enterré, Theodor Herzl.
Okay, can you speak?
Hello.
Okay, perfect.
Zionism is a lot of different things for different people. So there are different kinds of Zionism. There's political Zionism, which was what Theodor Herzl did, meaning spreading Zionism abroad to specifically governments, different leaders of various countries, as a way of allowing it in a more legal sense. Then you have religious Zionism, which is the belief that the Jews have a right to the land of Israel as it is written in the Old Testament, in the Torah, that it is the land that Jews come from and should live here. And then there is also Zionism as a way of being a place of refuge, meaning Jews around the world have constantly been facing anti-Semitism since forever. And so having their own state means creating a Jewish society in which Jews are safe and are able to thrive together as one community.
Pause. Ça fait beaucoup de définitions pour une seule notion. Alors, on va tout récapituler. Le sionisme est un mouvement politique et idéologique aspirant à instaurer une entité juive indépendante en Palestine. Autrement dit, le sionisme vise à la création d'un État pour les juifs. Mais alors, vous allez me demander pourquoi on lui donne plusieurs définitions. Eh bien, pour comprendre, il faut remonter dans le temps. À l'origine, le sionisme n'est pas juif, mais bien chrétien. À partir du XVIIIe siècle, des fondamentalistes britanniques s'appuient sur une lecture littérale de la Bible pour prôner le retour des juifs en Palestine. À terme, les 2/3 des juifs seront exterminés et les derniers se convertiront au christianisme. Ce sont sur ces bases antisémites qu'émerge en réalité une forme de proto-sionisme chrétien. Aujourd'hui, c'est ce proto-sionisme religieux qui aide à comprendre le soutien dont bénéficie Israël de la part de la droite américaine évangélique. Ce n'est que dans les années 1880 qu'émerge le sionisme juif. En effet, après les pogroms de Russie et l'affaire Dreyfus, l'antisémitisme est omniprésent en Europe. En réaction à ces événements, Theodor Herzl, un journaliste juif, va organiser le premier congrès sioniste à Bâle en 1897, qui vise à établir pour le peuple juif un foyer garanti par le droit public en Palestine. Autrement dit, Theodor Herzl aspire à un État pour les juifs en Palestine. C'est ce que Naomi a appelé la définition politique du sionisme. Mais alors, pourquoi installer ce foyer en Palestine ? Parce que dans la Torah, la terre sainte est celle de la Palestine, ou d'Israël, d'où la définition religieuse du sionisme que Naomi nous a soumise tout à l'heure. En 1917, la Palestine est sous mandat britannique. Arthur Balfour, le Premier ministre, va lors de la déclaration Balfour promettre l'établissement d'un foyer national pour le peuple juif en Palestine. À ce moment-là, il y a 600 000 Arabes en Palestine pour 60 000 Juifs. C'est dans les années 1920 que les premiers affrontements entre Juifs et Arabes vont se développer, soit bien avant la création de l'État d'Israël. Les Arabes, n'ayant pas le droit à disposer d'eux-mêmes en tant que peuple, à cause du mandat britannique, vont se révolter, notamment contre des milices d'autodéfense juives. Mais l'immigration va continuer à s'accroître. En 1944, la libération des camps nazis apporte une certaine légitimité au sionisme, comme Naomi l'a expliqué. Enfin, en 1948, le sionisme arrive à sa concrétisation politique, c'est la création de l'État d'Israël. Mais alors, pourquoi dit-on qu'il y a plusieurs définitions ? En réalité, il n'y en a qu'une, et c'est celle que nous avons vue. Je m'explique. Lorsque Naomi dit que le sionisme religieux, c'est le droit des Juifs à exister en Israël comme il l'est indiqué dans la Torah, cela revient à nier ce qu'est réellement le sionisme, c'est-à-dire créer un État pour les Juifs. Ici, à la place de sionisme religieux, ou le fait de venir en Israël pour des raisons religieuses, on parlerait plutôt de faire son alia, ou un pèlerinage vers ses terres ancestrales. La définition reste donc la même. Après, on retrouve dans le sionisme une multitude de mouvements différents, comme le sionisme révisionniste, qui prône la création d'un État juif sur les 2 rives du Jourdain et une attitude inflexible envers les Arabes. Ou encore, il y a le sionisme pratique, qui vise à la création de l'État juif par une colonisation lente et continue en Palestine. Mais ces courants convergent autour de la même définition, la création de l'État juif.
My dream is to have like a huge group of friends that is like combined with like everyone, like every religion, every kind of people with every belief that like believes that like people just like need to exist together. And that's like my core belief like we need to have in life. I just believe like we all can coexist together, and that's my actual dream. I hope it like makes sense to you.
I think Zionism in it of itself never speaks about oppressing another people. There's no charter of Zionism that describes that. Zionism is just a belief that the Jewish people should be in their land. It has no connection to oppressing other people, hurting others, anything like that. It just happens to be that from the events that happened in history that we have now made a connection between Zionism and Palestinians, and those two can exist in the same sphere. But that's not true.
The fact that I'm Zionist does not mean that I don't like Arabs or Christians or, I don't know, whatever.
He writes that, number one, there are already Arabs that are living here on this land and that we coexist peacefully. That the Jews coming to this land that were emigrating specifically from Europe and around the world was not something bad, but it was something good. It created new economic opportunities for people. They helped grow the land with farms, with building up the government, everything, all these things. And so it was not supposed to be something that was bad. It was really something that was good. And from with that, we would have this good connection with the group of people that had been existing here previously.
Voilà l'un des plus grands mythes du sionisme. Le sionisme ne parlerait pas d'oppression. Rappelons que le sionisme s'est construit comme un refuge face à l'antisémitisme. Aujourd'hui, les mouvements sionistes considèrent que la sécurité des juifs dépend de cet état des juifs. Et, pour conserver le caractère juif de cet état, il faut que les juifs détiennent le pouvoir politique et qu'ils restent démographiquement majoritaires au sein d'Israël. Pourquoi cette obsession démographique ? Eh bien parce que le judaïsme n'est pas une religion prosélyte, c'est-à-dire qu'elle ne cherche pas à convertir les non-juifs au judaïsme. Ainsi, au-delà d'un sentiment d'appartenance religieuse, c'est l'appartenance communautaire et nationale face à l'antisémitisme qui pousse à vouloir être démographiquement majoritaire en Israël. Ainsi, le sionisme assurerait la continuité de l'existence des juifs en tant que peuple, surtout après la Seconde Guerre mondiale. La loi du retour en Israël exprime cette volonté, puisque tous les juifs ont le droit de venir habiter en Israël et d'obtenir la nationalité. Mais pour cela, il faut que les non-juifs soient minoritaires. Et on observe encore les stigmates de cette politique de marginalisation des populations non-juives. Par exemple, rien qu'en 1949, un an après la création de l'État d'Israël par l'ONU, la défaite arabe conduit à l'exode de 750 000 Palestiniens en Cisjordanie, en Égypte, au Liban ou encore en Syrie. C'est la Nakba. Et les Arabes n'ont eux aucun droit au retour afin que les Juifs restent majoritaires en Israël. Et c'est en cela que le sionisme est une idéologie coloniale. Cette obsession démographique a mené à l'occupation et à la colonisation de territoires conquis à partir de 1967, comme Jérusalem-Est, la Cisjordanie et le plateau syrien du Golan. Le projet sioniste implique donc la marginalisation du peuple arabe. Aujourd'hui, on pourrait citer d'autres exemples d'oppression systémique et institutionnelle, comme la construction d'une barrière dite de sécurité de centaines de kilomètres, l'interdiction de tout citoyen israélien de se rendre en Cisjordanie, ce qui contribue à favoriser la diabolisation de l'un et de l'autre, le développement de checkpoints et de contrôles continus en Cisjordanie, la confiscation des terres, la violence qu'exercent les colons sionistes en Cisjordanie sur les Palestiniens, ou évidemment les bombardements à Gaza. Par ailleurs, Naomi explique la thèse de Herzl selon laquelle l'immigration massive de juifs en terre palestinienne était un atout pour les Arabes, notamment pour l'agriculture, la construction ou encore l'économie de manière générale. Mais en réalité, le projet sioniste est également une idéologie coloniale dans les chiffres. En 1923, on estime que les juifs possédaient environ 3% des terres en Palestine. Après la guerre de 1948, Israël contrôle environ 78% de la Palestine historique, bien au-delà de ce que le plan de partage de l'ONU avait proposé. Et les terres abandonnées par les réfugiés palestiniens sont placées sous le contrôle de l'État israélien et redistribuées. Finalement, dans ce discours, on remarque une certaine asymétrie. La voix des Palestiniens est marginalisée, ainsi, les bons côtés de l'immigration dont parle Naomi peuvent être remis en question si l'on parle des Palestiniens.
Zionism, to many Jews, does not just mean, I want to come live in Israel. It really becomes a huge part of the Jewish identity. So for example, for me, I grew up in America in a more modern Jewish society, and Zionism was at the core of everything. There was always an idea that you should come to Israel, that you should live here, that we are the safest here, that we are the happiest here, and that we always at some point will want to come here. And so I think Zionism has evolved from just being, this idea, specifically for Herzl, it was very much this dream that he had, that he wanted to implement, to have a state of Israel. And now, for modern day Jews, it has become our life. And specifically after the beginning of this war, after October 7th, Jews specifically outside of Israel are having to expend all their energy on defending Zionism, not just Zionism, but their home, their friends, and with that is their Jewish identity. So you simultaneously see Jews in universities, in schools, online, having to defend not only their Zionism, but also their Jewishness. And so it becomes this one thing. And so Zionism is so much more than just a political ideology, it's a way of life. It's a huge aspect of Jewish identity.
On retrouve ici encore un aspect de la propagande israélienne qui consiste à associer le sionisme comme intrinsèquement lié à la judéité, ou autrement dit, au fait d'être juif. Nous avons parlé de l'Alia dans la première partie, qui consiste avant le XXe siècle à un pèlerinage vers ses terres ancestrales. C'est ce qu'on appelle l'Alia prémoderne. À partir du XXe siècle, l'Alia devient un outil du sionisme, c'est-à-dire qu'on parle d'Alia lorsqu'un juif vient habiter en Israël. Et donc, on reprend un terme religieux pour l'utiliser politiquement et renforcer le projet sioniste. Cependant, un juif pourrait très bien faire son alia pour des raisons purement religieuses ou même en étant en désaccord avec le projet sioniste. Par ailleurs, Naomi assimile le fait d'être sioniste au fait d'être juif, à la judéité. Elle explique que tout juif est sioniste et que lorsque le sionisme est attaqué, c'est le judaïsme en lui-même qui est compromis. Sauf qu'en vérité, de nombreuses communautés juives sont opposées à la politique israélienne et au sionisme en général. Selon une enquête de 2021 réalisée par l'American Jewish Committee, 25% des jeunes juifs américains se montrent critiques envers le sionisme. Un autre exemple est celui des ultra-orthodoxes, qui n'ont pas une pratique libérale du judaïsme, qui ont une pratique radicale de leur judéité, et qui sont pourtant anti-sionistes, ou pour la plupart, qui ne soutiennent pas le sionisme. Mais alors, pourquoi associer le sionisme à la judéité ? Eh bien justement, pour nous laisser penser que critiquer le sionisme, c'est être antisémite. C'est une manière de protéger une idéologie qui sert des intérêts politiques. Pas convaincu ? Vous allez comprendre.
So anti-Zionism is a really hard word to define. Why should the only Jewish state that exists in the entire world consistently face so much backlash from different communities when there are other countries around the world that are doing very similar things or even worse? So what is really your backing for your anti-Zionism that you are so adamant about? And we really find that anti-Semitism throughout history has evolved. So it goes from being the Jews are the scapegoat, the worst of every society, and that meant that when it was the against communism, Jews were the communists. When there was the plague, the Jews were the reason for the plague. And now, when we've kind of entered into a more modern world, what's the worst thing ever? Racists, white supremacists. And so Zionism has now become exactly that, a settler ideology, a colonizing ideology. And so we kind of see this very similar reframing of what Jews are. And this really follows the same paths that anti-Semitism does. So I really do agree with the idea that anti-Zionism really does become anti-Semitism.
Alors, peut-on réellement dire qu'être antisioniste, c'est être antisémite ? Eh bien, évidemment, c'est plausible. Certaines personnes ou mouvements politisés dissimulent leur antisémitisme sous leur antisionisme. De la même manière que certains sionistes sont antisémites. Et là, j'ai perdu la moitié d'entre vous. Mais on l'a vu, le sionisme chrétien, beaucoup porté par la droite américaine évangélique, se fonde sur des bases antisémites. De plus, on retrouve dans cette pensée le chacun chez soi, un nationalisme exacerbé qui refuse toute immigration ou toute différence. D'où le fait de renvoyer les juifs chez eux, en Israël. C'est d'ailleurs assez cocasse que des partis politiques d'extrême droite, notamment en France, qui se fondent sur la peur du grand remplacement, soutiennent des mouvements comme le sionisme. Je vous laisse faire le rapprochement. Cependant, faut-il en faire une généralité ? Eh bien non, justement. Pour comprendre, il faut définir précisément ce qu'est l'antisionisme. L'antisionisme, c'est le fait de s'opposer à l'idéologie sioniste. Être antisioniste, c'est critiquer l'État juif, ou le fait qu'il y a un État des juifs, non pas parce qu'il est constitué de juifs, mais parce que c'est un État plaçant les juifs sous un statut supérieur, un statut différent. Ainsi, les personnes non juives se retrouvent discriminées en raison de leur ethnie ou de leur origine ou de leur religion. Et un régime qui privilégie une ethnie plutôt qu'une autre par des lois, des politiques et des pratiques discriminatoires de manière institutionnalisée, ça s'appelle un régime d'apartheid. Dès lors, on ne peut pas vraiment considérer que critiquer un état d'apartheid est antisémite sous prétexte qu'il est constitué de juifs. En 1949, l'antisionisme arabe prône en effet la destruction d'Israël, mais ça ne veut pas dire que l'antisionisme est une forme d'antisémitisme. Et ça ne veut pas dire non plus qu'il n'y a pas eu d'antisémitisme. Par exemple, dans son programme de 1969, Yasser Arafat prônait la fin de l'État d'Israël et son remplacement par un État palestinien, indépendant et démocratique, dont tous les citoyens, quelle que soit leur confession, jouiront de droits égaux. En bref, un État avec une constitution réellement démocratique. Même le Front démocratique pour la libération de la Palestine, FDLP, un parti marxiste, proposait un État palestinien de démocratie populaire où vivront sans discrimination juifs et arabes, un État opposé à toute domination de classe et de nationalisme, dans lequel le droit des Arabes et des Juifs à perpétuer et développer leur propre culture sera respecté. Et ces propos sont anti-sionistes, et vous le voyez, sont loin d'être antisémites. Par contre, Dieudonné qui fait une quenelle pour manifester son antisionisme et critiquer la politique du gouvernement israélien, eh bien, c'est raté, c'est de l'antisémitisme. Ainsi, être antisioniste, ce n'est pas être antisémite, contrairement à ce que la propagande israélienne tente d'inculquer dans le monde occidental et dans la société israélienne afin de protéger l'idéologie sioniste.
To be honest, I think that it doesn't matter who is in the head of the ministry right now. Every person, people will just find a reason to hate us. I see it a lot on TikTok. Basically, all the people who are think they understand something about this war are people that are basically feeding themselves from TikTok.
I think our biggest security threat is how people are viewing us online. We are constantly put in a position where we are always the bad guys. It doesn't matter what the situation is.
I don't know if it's just because I'm Jewish, okay? Because I'm in the military and I have soldiers with me that are Christian and they're Arabs. I have Muslim soldier that is fighting with me when they hate they hate Israel. So I don't think it's just because I'm Jewish. I think it's because people just I don't know. Whenever you think about how people view wars, they think who is the strong one and who is the weak one. Okay, and right now we're in the position that we're stronger, which makes it easier to hate on us.
And so to deal with that abroad is very difficult because now you, again, back to universities, back to all these spaces where Jews are having to defend themselves or are in positions that their security is being breached. It's coming from other students the same age who grew up in the same environments, but these students are reading and processing things online that simply aren't true.
Ces témoignages illustrent en quelque sorte l'échec du projet sioniste dont le but était à l'origine de mettre les juifs à l'abri de tout antisémitisme. Aujourd'hui, l'antisémitisme croît surtout depuis le 7 octobre 2023. Par exemple, en France, sur le premier trimestre de 2024, une hausse de 300% des actes antisémites a été enregistrée. Mais ce qui est frappant, c'est que l'endroit où les juifs sont le plus en danger, c'est justement en Israël, et cela à cause du sionisme qui suscite de terribles actions terroristes à l'image du 7 octobre. Par ailleurs, depuis le début de cette guerre, la toile s'est enflammée autour du débat que l'on a eu juste avant. En fait, il y a eu une forte polarisation autour de deux amalgames majeurs que nous avons expliqués. La première, associer antisionisme et antisémitisme, et la seconde, associer le sionisme et la judéité. Ces deux amalgames sont renforcés par la propagande israélienne qui contribue à diffuser ces fausses idées. Mais c'est aussi cette obstination à défendre le sionisme qui malheureusement fait croître l'antisémitisme. À présent, on va parler de l'attaque du 7 octobre 2023. Pour faire un rappel des faits, à cette date, le Hamas a lancé une attaque terroriste de grande ampleur contre le sud d'Israël, faisant plus de 1200 morts et 251 otages. Ces événements ont suscité un élan de solidarité, non seulement parmi le peuple israélien, mais également sur la scène internationale.
What do you think of current peace initiatives between Israelis and Palestinians? And what is your opinion of international efforts to resolve the conflict?
I think answering this question would be very different before October 7th versus now. Because now we're kind of in a position where we're seeing the results of peace initiatives.
I feel horrible. What happened here on October the 7th was an entire massacre that if they just targeted military bases, I was okay, that's a war. They can't we attack military, they attack military, and that's okay, my friend died and they're in the military and they're like 20. No, it's okay. I went there. Like, I was like at the place where everything got destroyed. Like, I saw bodies, I saw horrible images. And like what happened there was not like, it wasn't a war, it was like a massacre, it was genocide to like one extent. If you understand like how Hamas works, they basically like, they build like for like the past decade, they build tons of tunnels underground. Tons of tunnels where they hide their bombs, where they hide their weapons, and now where they're hiding their hostages. And like what we need to do as a state that was attacked, we need to like destroy the tunnel system, because that's where they're like starting, and then they leave, like they gather there and they leave. So like whenever we attack, sadly civilians die, and that's something that like it hurts my feelings. So like I don't want kids to die, you know. Every child is a child. However, we cannot like just stay quiet and be like, you killed like our people, you abducted our people, like innocent people. They abducted like a 1-year-old, like the most innocent human being they can abduct, and they abducted a 1-year-old, and we cannot just like stay quiet, like stay silent and be like, okay, attack us. We'll just like be like, peace. No, it's not working like that. Like in my opinion. So yeah, I do agree with what Israel is doing to most extent. It's a war, and in war, innocent people die in the very sad core of it.
I just don't know what the international efforts are to resolve this issue really are, because I don't think that like places like Spain and other countries, Ireland, they have recognized that there is a Palestinian state. But what does a Palestinian state really mean now? Because when we gave independence to Gaza, to some of the West Bank, this was supposed to be, you know, the Palestinian state. And now, after the results of October 7th, are these countries now saying, okay, your acts of terror, your pogrom of Jewish people is a way of a valid way of making a country? Is that how we do things? And I'm not so sure that this is something that people should take example of to go into music festivals and murder young men and women and rape them and take them for hostage. And now we get to award them and say, oh, yes, now you have a Palestinian state. Now, I understand why you're so upset. Now let's give you what you wanted. I don't know if that's the way to do things.
Selon un sondage de l'Institut israélien pour la démocratie datant de l'été 2024, environ 77% des Israéliens ont déclaré que le retour des otages devrait être la première priorité, tandis que seulement 12% ont déclaré que ça devrait être le renversement du Hamas. Et donc, j'ai voulu donner la parole à ces citoyens qui prônent la fin de la guerre et clament leur mécontentement envers le gouvernement Netanyahou lors de manifestations.
My name is Avi, I'm 75 years old, and I'm born in Israel, and I'm an Israeli citizen.
So what are you doing here? Where are we? And for what cause?
So we are in the place of the Museum of Tel Aviv, that since the October 7 will become a place for the hostages families. Some of them they are sitting here, and the audience are support them in the effort to bring them home.
So to begin with, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Be'eri. I was born and raised in Israel. I lived most of my life in Tel Aviv. To me personally, I'm very lucky. I haven't experienced any immediate loss due to the massacres that took place in last October. We all take part in different channels, different routes to keep supporting the families. And even though we may have different opinions on the political side, still we are united and we're doing all we can to make sure that the families will be supported.
Yeah, so my name is Amanda and I'm from Canada and I'm here volunteering at the Hostage Square.
I'm volunteering here because I think in a time like this, especially for me as a Jew, living outside of Israel but being Israeli, it's my responsibility and my obligation, I feel, to be here and to be a part of the nation and to be a part of doing what I can in my efforts to strengthen the nation in everything that we've been going through since October 7th, which includes the hostages and the pain that the families and relatives of hostages have had to go through.
What do you think of peace and reconciliation initiatives between Israelis and Palestinians?
By all means, Israel should keep focusing and aiming at achieving peace with its neighboring countries, by all means, but as could be, as was well pronounced, due to the massacre, it's not a walk in the park. It's not an easy, and we should make sure that our neighbors will have the appropriate leadership to allow fruitful relations.
I'm just expecting for everyone to be back home safe and to be reunited with their families and to have this horrible nightmare of a time since October 7th that we've been living to end, and to just have peace and happiness and safety from Israel.
We'd like to have peace, but a very educated peace, a sustainable one.
What do you expect from the government?
To make the deal, to bring them home immediately.
To get peace?
I'm not going into a political, but first of all, the hostages have to come home immediately, because there are children there are elder people. The oldest one is about 86 years old, not he is ill, and we hope all of them are still alive. But we are not sure. We know that part of them are not alive anymore.
By all means, some of the Palestinians are definitely victims of the Hamas, and you should filter out those who took active role in helping, whether directly or indirectly, helping the Hamas to reach its 7th October disastrous goals, and those who are completely innocent.
I think what keeps our nation, not only the Jewish nation, but the Israeli nation, what keeps us together is hope and strength. And, it's really important to keep fighting, and that doesn't mean it's easy, and that doesn't mean in hard times it's easy, but it's important to be together and to find strength in each other and to make sure that we will be able to see the end and to see the light at the end of the tunnel that will eventually lead to happiness and safety and amazing times where we can look back at this as just a bad dream and not have to be living it anymore.
To my view, there could be a country in which there will be a wealth of different religions living together peacefully, but then again, to get there, it takes its toll. You should make sure you adopt the right approach towards terrorists from all sides of the equation.
I live all my life in Israel. I've got 3 children and 8 grandchildren. They're all in Israel. And we are trying to make the best of it. And what's going on since January 23 is disastrous, is a disaster.
Yes, my name is Iran, and they came here to save Israel. It's not about right wing or left wing, it's about Israel committing suicide. I really think that Netanyahu cannot commit a deal, go forward to the future and save all the hostages, because he is known as a liar. It's a fact, it's not an opinion. he has zero credit in the world. If nobody believes you, you can't make any deal. If you want to make a deal, the price is much more expensive.
I'm Shaked, I live here in Tel Aviv, and I'm an activist also in Changing Direction movement. And now we are trying to get elections in Israel. We're working very hard for it. You see all the people here, we're all striking just to have elections and to have a government that thinks about us and really cares about the country.
This government is corrupt, heartless, and stupid, and don't strive for peace, but only for their existence on their seat. And they don't care for casualties and for the soldiers, they only care for themselves.
Even if I were right-wing, I still believe that Netanyahu cannot do any deal because he is a liar. He cannot do an hostage deal, he cannot bring quiet over here, he cannot do a deal, a regional deal with the US and all the Arab countries, the Sunni Arab countries against Iran. So he put us in danger.
Who do you want in your government?
Someone that cares about, I don't care if it's right-wing or left-wing, if it's secular or religious. I want someone who do care about the people, who do care about the future of Israel, and is not in conflict of interest.
And today, what are you asking? What do you expect of the government?
To resign, to resign.
And today, why are you really here? What are you expecting for the government? And yeah.
So what happened in the 7th of October was one of the most terrible things that happened in Israel, and we know that the government is in charge for it. So we say we cannot get it okay that the government will be the same government in the next 7th of October. So we ask them to change, to decide on elections now, to get elections before the 7th of October.
אנחנו שותפים מלאים בהגנה ובשמירה על ביטחון המדינה, ככה נהיה שותפים מלאים בהפלת ממשלת החורבן.
Look, there is a tremendous opposition. And if tomorrow we have elections, no doubt they are going to fall, and they know it very well. They understand that they can't go to elections because that's their end. But we are persistent, we are fighters. This organization is an organization called Brothers to Arms. We are veterans.
We are surprised and shocked every week to see that our government ruin Israel from inside, ruin everything. We are afraid of what's going on in the north, and we see the north just getting burned, and we are terrified about what they're doing to the government itself. They're just, everything is collapsed, and so we are so shocked every week to realize that they can ruin something new. And we understand that if we don't move this government, have another government that really cares for us, we are in a big, big shit.
Okay, thank you, Alan. And one last question. Do you think that what is happening in Palestine is a genocide?
Look, it's a good question. It's complicated. I think that we all have to remember what started this October 7, and that they still keep hostages. I think that even the Hamas is enjoying. If it's a suicide, if it's a genocide, then Hamas has a part in this genocide, because Hamas himself is happy of the blood of every Palestinian baby that's getting killed in the Gaza and everywhere.
Do you think that what is happening now in Gaza is a genocide?
Myself, I don't think it's a genocide, but I think it's very, very bad what's going on there. I think it's terrible that we hurt people, it's terrible that people die, and it's caused a lot of Hamas that really does everything to get its people killed and to get children and women killed.
I think that the main thing that makes the difference is if you have a goal to the long run, it's not a genocide. If your only plan is revenge, it may be similar to genocide. But I think that we have to remember that Israel, I believe that Israel, even the right-wing regime, cares about almost every Palestinian who died. The target or the aim of the other side is to get children die.
But I think also that the fact that the government of Israel right now doesn't have any goals to the war, and not real goals, and we don't know what's the next day, okay? So it means that the people are just dying for nothing, and this is just terrible, okay? So I don't think it's a genocide, but I do think it's terrible what's going on there, and we need to have a government that thinks about people in Gaza and all the soldiers of Israel. Only today there was 8 soldiers that died in Gaza.
I believe that we can live together. I have Arab friends, I have religious friends, I have right-wing friends. I believe that we can live together.
Thank you, Alain.
Ces témoignages illustrent bien la colère du peuple israélien face aux politiques du gouvernement de Netanyahou. Cependant, encore une fois, la voix du peuple arabe et surtout des Palestiniens est marginalisée. C'est pourquoi je suis parti à leur rencontre pour leur demander directement leur vision de la situation.
Je m'appelle Hassan Abou Ramadan, citoyen de Jaffa. Je me considère comme arabe israélien, arabe musulman israélien. Et en réalité, les arabes ici et les juifs et les chrétiens vivent ensemble en communauté. Et nous sommes voisins. Nous vivons dans la même région et nous aidons les uns les autres. Nous avons presque les mêmes droits que les Israéliens. La solution pour tout le monde, c'est la paix. Et on peut vivre, les Israéliens avec les Palestiniens peuvent vivre ensemble et peuvent, disons, collaborer les uns avec les autres, travailler les uns avec les autres. Si les Israéliens ne veulent pas les Palestiniens, qu'ils donnent aux Palestiniens leur État et qu'ils vivent en paix. On peut faire un accord de paix entre les Israéliens et les Palestiniens, et ça peut être.
Tel Aviv et Jaffa sont des lieux très touristiques, et je n'ai pas vraiment senti de tension directe entre les Juifs et les Arabes, que ce soit dans ce que j'ai pu voir ou ce que j'ai pu entendre. Alors, j'ai voulu aller à Nazareth, la ville qui concentre la plus grande communauté arabe en Israël, et qui est un peu moins touristique, afin de savoir si Tel Aviv était une exception.
It's normal, like every citizen in another country. عادي زي كل مواطن في أي دولة له حقوقه وعليه واجباته. I have to work hard to يعني لازم أعمل بجهد أكبر حتى أثبت نفسي بكل المجالات. لا أشعر بالتمييز، أحيانا في مواقف قليلة جدا. أعتبر نفسي إسرائيلي فلسطيني إسرائيلي. I live in Israel. I think I am Israeli and Palestinian. العلاقات جيدة ممتازة. الفرص أقل بالنسبة للعربي بأشياء بسيطة، لأنه في وظائف العربي بيقدرش يشتغل فيها في محلات إلا اللي بحاجة ل العرب احنا ما بنخدمش بالجيش الا قليل، نسبة قليلة. في وظائف بدها شيء امني، بدها ناس اللي خدمت بالجيش لها حقوق، يعني غير عن ان شاء الله العلاقات بتكون منيحة. دائما احنا متفائلين بالخير. اليهود والعرب عايشين مع بعض ألوف سنين مع بعض، ولازم يتأقلموا مع بعض، يعيشوا مع بعض بسلام.
Yeah, I'm Khalid Abutaya from Nazareth. I'm an Arabic young man in my 20s, and I'm tired from this shit.
Can you tell us about your experience as an Arab citizen in Israel?
My experience in this state is like a whole black story. I'm a Palestinian who have an Israeli passport. I have family in Gaza and the West Bank and in the 48 state, like Israel.
Do you feel discriminated sometimes?
Yes, because of the community in Israel have played propaganda over us from so many years. There's a Arabic saying فرق تسد. It says if you have so many people together, you cannot break them. But if you have everyone alone, you can break them one by one. We are the big city in the whole Arabic community, and still we have so many problems. We have so many shooting. We have so many differences at the opinions, at the daily transitions, like with each other. I think it's from the propaganda we have.
How do you perceive government's policies regarding the rights and opportunities of Arab citizens in Israel?
I cannot say anything, but it's occupation, so we are not here from the Jews' eyes. We are not here, and we are not. We have no rights to stay here. Right now, it's going in Gaza, and after Gaza, we'll go to the West Bank. After the West Bank, will go another time to us, and will evacuate us. Look, I think it's a time matter. That's it.
What is your opinion of the Israeli education system, and how could it be improved too?
The Arabic community in Israel, we must to learn the Hebrew and do every exam in the baccalaureate with the Hebrew language. So it's not our language. The English we do in English, obviously, and the Hebrew we do in Hebrew. And every last science or math or what do you want, it's in Hebrew. It's not our language.
How do you see the future of relations between Jewish and Arab Israelis, and what changes do you hope to see?
I hope to see the Arabs will learn from the Jews the system and the rules and the whole of the think system, but the Jews have to learn from us how to love each other and how to accept the difference. Yep.
I don't have any problem to live with him. He's a Muslim, I'm a Christian. I don't have a problem to live with him. He doesn't have a problem to live with me. But basically, from when we grow up, we lived on a system that tells us to hate each other, to not to love each other.
It's not force you to hate someone, but it's tell you are not the same. You know? Yeah, you are the Christian, you are the white man, and this is a Muslim. Oh, Muslim, you know the dilemma about the Muslims and the whole world. We are in city. We have to accept each other's in this city, but in the other cities, in the Jewish city, in the Jerusalem, at exam, we have to put our heads down and go like a good boy.
That's a good point.
Do you think this war is more like a genocide?
So, okay, so I can't actually tell you it's a genocide or actually tell you it's not a genocide. We don't have the full story. We don't know the full story actually. Nobody does. So it's not like the First World War or Second World War. You know who's against who and who's with who. It's a little bit foggy. You don't know anything.
There is so many dilemmas.
Basically, it's like a genocide. You feel it like a genocide because they're like going on a specific people or a specific kind of people. So yeah, you feel it like a genocide. But we can't like tell you if it's a genocide or not.
Do you believe in the one-state solution?
What is the one-state solution? In the whole world, we have to do a one government, and the one government is to rule the whole world. That's what I think.
No, but
it's not about Gaza, it's not about Israel, it's about the whole world. Yeah.
But in Israel?
In Israel, I think we are all of us are human, and all of us have and must and need to live. So it's a one state, it's a 4 states, it's a 1 million state, it doesn't matter. Every man and every woman and every children have to love, to live and feel loved.
Khaled a évoqué les difficultés que les Arabes pouvaient rencontrer à Jérusalem. Et nous allons voir que la situation a beaucoup évolué depuis le 7 octobre 2023, surtout à Jérusalem-Est.
My name is Ahmed. My name is Ahmed. Yeah, living in the old city. I have a shop at the Armenian quarter. Yeah. And I live in the city since long. I born here. All my family here also.
Are you Arabic?
I'm Arab Muslim. But I grew up at the Armenian quarter, Christian quarter, since long time. Yes.
Can you tell us about your experience as an Arab citizen in Israel?
We're staying in this city since long time, yeah? And till now, we don't have any passport or any ID. And we're staying at the pendant, like we are Arab, living in the old city, living in Jerusalem. But still, we have like Jordanian passport and Israeli ID. You can live, you have a, like license, stuff like that.
And do you consider yourself as an Israeli, a Palestinian, or Jordanian?
We are Arab, Palestinian. We are Palestinian Arab living in the city since long time. Yes.
What are the biggest challenges you face in your daily life as a member of Israel's Arab minority?
Look, to live in this country, it's not that easy You see, because always it's a problem. But you have to know one thing, since God created this earth till now, it's occupation and a problem in this country. But now it's very tough. You know, this war, it has changed so much things. And it broken something between the Arab and Jew. It's happened some problems, easy to forget, like couple of days, 10 days, they forget it. But if we're talking about this war, it is tough. For 1 year, everything closed, stuck. Life, it's getting sucks, you know. People, they are not happy like before, you know. People, they are sad at the street. Yeah. And this is, it's really, you know, very difficult. If I, you know, like, we hope the war stop soon, because, you know, everything getting changed.
And in everyday life, do you feel discriminated by Israeli people that comes here in Jerusalem East, or?
Look, I want to tell you something, you know. We are living with the Israeli people since long time. We used to live with, you know, like, in general, most of the Arab, 80% of the Arab, they are working with the Jew. Construction, streets, factories, all. That's why when this war start, 80-90% of the workers, of the Palestinian workers, they stop to work. They are not working anymore. You know, they stop them visa, and they cannot come to Israel and to work. You see, it's mean a lot of people getting, you know, poor. There is no money, no work, no nothing. You know, if you go now to the West Bank, you see how the situation getting hard. You know. It's hard for them also, you know. What's happened in 7 October, they are like in the first day of the war, you know, they wake up at the morning and they don't know what's happened, you see. They took hostages, they opened the lands, and they like, you know what's happened, you know. They enter to the you know, the Palestinian in Gaza enter to the, you know, Israeli, you know, settlements and get hostages. And after that, excuse me, the government getting tough with the Arab. For example, in my work, like, let's say, you know, every week they came, you see, the tax, you know, they came to the market. The police came to the shops, they asked what you buy, what do you sell, and make it more tough. And they let the people in the city pay money tax for the government, and there is no business. That's what we have. And, you know, they closed my shop for a couple of days, you see, after the war.
How do you see the future of relations between Jewish and Arab Israelis, and what change do you hope to see?
If you open the map of this country, you can tell it's Arab and Jew, they are like equal. That's why, excuse me, they should to find a solution to make a two-state. But the problem, you have also one problem, Jerusalem, it's a big problem, because everybody is fighting for Jerusalem. The Israeli and Jew, they need Jerusalem, and the Palestinian people, they need Jerusalem. That's why, excuse me, I don't know, you know, what will be happen and what the solution, people, they don't know. If it's happened in one state, I don't know what will be happen. You see, they are fighting at the street, you know, and it's always fighting in this country. Now America and Israel, they don't need like solution. They need to kick the Palestinian out from Gaza. They don't need them to come back again, let's say. And also, excuse me, they have thinking to do also other things. Like I told you, we don't know what will be happen, but it's getting tough for Arab and Jew both side now in this country, in this war. And we can tell, If you walk and you go and you come, you can see how the things has changed. Hamas has created by Israeli government. Hamas, it's created by in 1889, 1880s. Start to Hamas in Gaza, you know. In 1980s, 1970s, Israel, they was control all the country from down then up till up, you see. After that, they give Gaza Strip for Hamas, for like, after what's happened like between Fatah and Hamas, they cut in 1990s. It's been two government, Palestinian government. You know, there is government in Ramallah and government in Gaza. They are closing the Gaza Strip for long time, from 2000 till now, 25 year or 30 year closing the Gaza Strip, you see. I think what's happened in 7 October, excuse me, they was thinking about it, you know, and for a long time, 5 years or 10 years, to do this, to do what's happened now, you see. It's not by 1 day or 10 days or 1 month or 2 months. Thinking so much, you know, they have a big, as you see, they have a soldiers, they are teach the soldiers underground, they open the tunnels, you know. You cannot, you know, in the end, it's not about you love or you don't love, you see, or you are supporting or not, but we are looking what's happened as like after this war, they give them a chance to do that.
En vérité, vous l'avez peut-être également senti, mais j'ai eu l'impression qu'Ahmed était sur la retenue sur la fin de ses interviews. Il avait encore des choses à dire, mais qu'il était retenu par une forme de peur. Il faut savoir qu'à Jérusalem-Est, les Arabes subissent un contrôle quotidien de tous leurs faits et gestes. Et lorsqu'ils se livrent sur leur vécu et qu'ils critiquent implicitement ou explicitement d'ailleurs le gouvernement, eh bien, ils prennent des risques. Et c'est notamment ce que m'a expliqué Jinan, en off, la prochaine personne interviewée, qui habite en Cisjordanie et qui vit la répression et l'oppression au quotidien.
Hey, I'm Jinan. I'm a Palestinian from Jerusalem. I am an engineer, a professional chef. So I grew up in Jerusalem, in Jabal Mukabber. Yes, I'm Arab. I'm fine with being Arab. I'm proud of my Arab heritage. I'm proud of my Arabic language. But we in Palestine are Palestinians. Like, this is our first identity. I'm Palestinian, then I'm Arab.
Do you feel you're threatened because you are Arab when you are in Jerusalem?
I feel threatened, yes. The other day on my way to work, I was stopped by Israeli soldiers in the old city because they noticed my necklace, which is the same map or a bit different. Like, basically, I was stopped for wearing this necklace. So they stopped me, they searched my bag, they searched me. They were so racist to me. They were like, this is the land of Israel, take it off or get out. And I refused to take my necklace off. I was like, this is my identity, I'm Palestinian. And I taught them some international law. They refused to listen. I was escorted out of the old city at gunpoint and prevented from reaching my workplace. So this is just one incident, one casual incident a Palestinian would face in Jerusalem. And like, the thing is, me as a Palestinian with Jerusalem ID, I have slightly some more privileges. Like, I think a Palestinian with a work permit might not dare to do that because he's probably supporting a family and like wouldn't dare to go to jail or like for his permit to be taken away. And it's just dehumanizing on a daily basis to live in Palestine as a Palestinian.
You talked about your identity as a Palestinian.
Yeah.
Do you feel that your identity is taken away from you?
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, because basically our Palestinian identity consists of our land, the people and the narrative. The land is being constantly taken. The settlements are expanding in Palestine everywhere. The people are being annihilated with the genocide happening now in Gaza. There are constant raids in the West Bank. There have been plenty of airstrikes in the West Bank. Civilians, children are targeted in the West Bank. They're killed by snipers. Like street walkers are just shot dead in the West Bank. It's this dystopian. And it's not just on this level, like our culture is being appropriated. Our cuisine is being appropriated. Now it's claimed as Israeli cuisine. Our kufiyya now, they're like, we're not, as Palestinians, we're not allowed. I would go to jail if I walk in the streets of Jerusalem wearing kufiyya. So yeah, our identity, they're trying to omit our identity completely. Because خلاص, once you omit our identity, it's like the same thing that was happening with the indigenous people of Australia, of America. It's just same settler colonial strategy. You take the land, you kill the people, you omit the story of them. Bam, it's like it's never happened. So the West Bank now is divided into ghettos, basically. There are 840 checkpoints in the West Bank, okay? If you try to travel from a city to another, it's gonna take you minimum 4 hours. Right? Like you'd be able, like, in normal situation, you should be able to travel through historic Palestine from north to south in 4 hours, okay? Like to travel 30 kilometers in the West Bank now, it might take you 4 hours at least, if you're not attacked by settlers. Settlers are attacking Palestinian villages, burning houses, killing people. In Masafir Yatta, it's beyond dystopian, like it's a Bedouin village south of Hebron. Settlers are literally entering Palestinian homes. They sit inside their houses, they smoke, they shoot people. It's armed settlers shooting people, poisoning their sheep, burning their homes. Like, it's live streams. Like, we have nothing as Palestinians against Jews. We know the difference between Judaism and Zionism. I have Jewish friends. Jews have always lived in peace, and they've always been integrated with Arabs and Palestinians through history. We Palestinians, I have Jewish friends. I have no issue with Jews. We have issue with Zionism. Zionism is a political movement. People who live in the West Bank, they are settlers, with Zionist settlers with extreme ideology. They're there to colonize the land. They're there to expel the people. The war, the conflict, the whatever you call it, is never and was never and will never be about religion. Jews, Muslims, and Christians have always lived in peace and harmony in Palestine. It's not Jews versus Arabs. It's Palestinians versus Zionists. Okay? So, like, I don't want to foresee future because I don't have any, like, optimistic views on what's gonna happen. Yani, what I personally think should happen for, like, peace to happen in the Middle East, like, first of all, war should stop in Gaza. All war criminals should go to The Hague. And we should focus on bringing justice. Peace comes with justice. We should focus on bringing justice. We Palestinians are open, and this has always been the first, like, aspiration for us to live, all Muslims, Jews, Christians, atheists, whatever you are, in Palestine, in one democratic state, all of us. But, like, what should happen is afterwards, if we want to do this, is in the apartheid state, dismantle the settlements, the right of return to all refugees, all Palestinian refugees and their descendants. Then we talk how to resolve it.
Have
not.
some examples of
Yeah.
this in your daily life?
Like on what? On
Of what you call
apartheid? Yeah, there are segregated buses. There are buses who are settler only. They go to West Bank settlements. Like you as a Palestinian, if you try to get on this bus, you'll get arrested probably. Like this is, what is that? And Hebron, like in Shuhada Street, this is a Palestinian street in the old city of Hebron. You as a Palestinian are not allowed to even walk that street. They say it's Jewish only. They use the Jewish word, but it's like basically settler only streets.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Is there something else you want to talk? Like something you think it's important?
Yeah, you know what? I think, don't listen to media, don't listen to anyone, not to Palestinians, not to Israelis. Go do your own research, don't take anything for granted. Just go do your own research on Palestine. Read about the Nakba. Read about the history of Palestine. Just start from 48, it's enough, and make your own judgment. Just do your own little research. It's not complicated. They want you to think it's complicated. It's not that complicated. It's just another settler colonial project. Just go do your own research and make your own judgment on it. That's all.